Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here. Welcome back to another Cardano video. And today I'm sitting down with Farmer Nash, who is building an NFT gaming project on Cardano. Someone I've been following now for a while. So we're going to cover what he's doing, the project he's building, NFT gaming in general. And look, we'll see where the conversation goes. I will put timestamps below afterwards for anyone that wants certain sections, because I think we're going to cover a lot here. Farmer Nash, very welcome to the channel. Thanks for taking the time to come on.
Hey, Paul, appreciate you for having me, and I'm excited to chat Cardano, NFTs, anything we got going on today.
Nice. Yeah. So look, jumping straight into it, give the high level to yourself, and then we'll get into your project, NFTs, how you came on Cardano for building your project.
Absolutely. So I started out my career after college as a licensed loan originator. I was doing mortgage loans. And then, times were really good in the COVID, quote unquote, times were really good, depending on the frame you're looking at. But for mortgage rates, they were really good. Everyone was refinancing. Then rates started to go up. And I actually discovered Bitcoin in 2020, and I was very interested in it. I went into this huge rabbit hole, and I eventually discovered Ethereum. And I've been a gamer my entire life. And when I figured out that, using the blockchain, I could actually own the game that I love and be a part of the game, then I was immediately hooked on NFT gaming. So that eventually led me to join a bunch of gaming projects. I had 100 players that I was renting NFTs to in Axie Infinity. I had a bunch of the sandbox land plots. So a lot of those kind of OG, like 2020 to 2021 gaming projects I was a part of. I played dozens, if not hundreds, of NFT or Web3 games, whatever you want to call them. And that eventually, led me to finding kind of a hole in the market, which was every game kept dying for the same reason. And it was specifically a Web3 game. And that was people, the economies were structured in a poor way to where they were similar to Ponzi schemes. And people weren't playing for the right reasons. They weren't actually gamers or players. They were just investors. So that kind of sent me on my journey to start Goombles, which is a player-owned game. And we're going to have our kind of unique spin on things to make a game for gamers, while you can also own your assets. So Paul, I think I accidentally answered 2 questions there.
No, you're good. As I said, these are conversations that just flowed. It's rather than set questions. But just on a few things you said there, the economies within games is a topic. Every time I talk to someone that's looking at games, I say, I must set up a podcast just based on that. I think that's a topic that's massive. And so, as you say, so many games do it wrong, and it attracts all the wrong crowd in that are only there as investors, not as people who want to play the game. And that's a market I think crypto still hasn't cracked, is gamers who just want to play the game. People who have grown up spending money on buying all these in-game assets and don't care that they can't use them or sell them on afterwards. That's the market that we want to build games that they want to play. And that's how we can onboard a lot of people. But we'll see where we go on this one. We might get to that towards the end, or maybe even set up another podcast with some other founders to dive into that. But you touched on Goombles and what it is, but what kind of game is it going to be?
Yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit about Goombles. It's a player-owned 3D tower defense game powered by the Cardano blockchain. And basically, if you're a gamer or you want to be, an owner of assets, there's a space for you in the ecosystem. So what makes our game unique is, for anyone who's played tower defense, basically a bunch of enemies are spawning on this side of the map, and they're trying to get to your base on this side, and it's your job to stop them. And there's a lot of really fun and cool ways you could do it. And we actually have a controllable tower, which is we're going to call a mech. You can upgrade your towers, unlock sweet cosmetics. You can explore maps and collect rare items. And the most fun thing is that you're going to be able to 1v1 your friends, right? And you're going to be able to talk trash when you absolutely beat them and have cooler loot than them. So we actually started as more of an indie game. We had 2 really cool devs working on the project. But we had the opportunity to take things to the next level. So we signed with a studio called Magic Media. They've done amazing things for Warner Bros. And a lot of even Disney, a lot of big clients. They have amazing artists, game devs, and everything. So now we have about 11 people currently with their hands on the game. And, not only are we kind of like supporting a game first for gamers, but our economy being on chain, we can also kind of activate a little side for the degens there and the people who are interested in the on chain ownership. And if you're not interested in that, then you can just play the game for fun. So we kind of want to go for the dual approach there.
Okay, and in the game, is say I come in, I don't own any assets. Can I play the game, or do I have to own an NFT to get involved?
Yeah. So right now, we're actually going to have our pre-alpha test this year, right? So it's probably going to be next month, which is December. And basically, you're going to need to be a holder for this, right? And why?
Mhm.
Because it's our pre-alpha, which means normally the public would not see the game in this state. But since you're a holder, you're early supporter, you're going to be able to play the game, maybe even earn some cool prizes. And then if once the game relaunches, it's going to be available to everyone with NFT holders getting perks in the ecosystem.
Okay, and how much of so it's a game built on the blockchain. How much is on the blockchain? Is it just the characters, or is there other aspects of the game? I've seen this conversation before about how much you actually put on, and then you have speed requirements and auto saves and everything. But where do you fall in that?
I like to think of Goombles as it's going to be a Web 2.5 game. So having too many things on chain just makes it kind of clunky and slow, and especially if you have like the server on chain, which is pretty crazy in my opinion. So you can think of us as a Web 2.5 game. The goal is you're going to have basically your player profile in your game. You're going to connect it to our website, and then a website is going to be connected to your wallet. So your wallet is going to be basically your player profile. So if you want to just start with like an email password and try out the game, you'll be able to do that. But if you want to earn cool things, trade them, maybe get some cool collectibles, then you can connect your account to your wallet. So but more of a Web 2.5 approach, and you're gonna be able
Mhm.
to see your items and things in the game.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense right now. Who knows where it goes in the future, but definitely right now the tech, it doesn't really support having everything on chain. Or if you do go fully on chain, I think it limits what you can do in the game. And if you're trying to attract people outside of crypto, you have to be able to do what the games outside of crypto actually do to make them fun to play and have have something that draws them in. And with the items that you said win prizes and stuff in the game. So is that like you can win NFTs or upgrades, or how does that work?
Yeah. So, it's actually an interesting question because when we initially launched Goombles, I was really against having an in-game token. And that's because, as I mentioned earlier in the beginning of the interview, every single game I played always died, and it was basically because of the token.
Mhm.
I've since been kind of changing my opinion. It's been shaping within the last maybe six to 12 months here. I actually think there's some benefits that a token can bring, but immediately for kind of the base answer is you're going to be able to passively earn through gameplay rare NFTs. And if you're a holder, you're going to get rare things that non-holders are not going to be able to get. Unless they're like the top of the leaderboard, maybe they'll have a shot at getting the rare items. But you'll be able to basically get the items that people need and or want in game.
Okay, and so do these help with, you said like, I suppose on a high level you have to get from one side of the map to the other. Do they help give you an advantage in that? Are they weapons, or are they part of strategies that can be used?
Yeah, so in the game, there's going to be these things called mechs, which are basically your movable character. So each mech has a primary fire and then two special abilities. So you can think of mechs possibly getting some different special abilities. There's going to be cosmetics. Gamers love cosmetics. Your items that you earn are actually going to be on chain and tradable, whereas the more common items aren't going to be. You're going to get alpha access with the NFT. And then also you're going to be getting periodic NFT drops for basically kind of like things you're going to need to sustain in the game. So there's a lot of different things.
Okay, yeah, the token one is interesting. I didn't think you were. I know I'd seen something before, but there will be no token with it. And will that come? There's nothing out there yet. Is there on a token?
I haven't publicly stated anything, but here's my current thought. If you want me to just share my thought, if you're a
Yeah.
Web3 game or Web3 project, then you should be using that to your advantage because you have to develop extra things. You have to make, this extra economy, which is a whole nother route on top of an already nearly impossible feat of creating a fun game that people play. So you may as well take all advantages you can in Web3. And if you can actually become a player-owned economy by giving out this token, then there actually could be a lot of benefit. The thing is, I don't think any projects back in 2020, 2021, even 2022 did it right. And I'm finally starting to see with the new kind of wave of games, people are doing it right. And it's getting me hopeful for the future of fungible tokens in gaming.
Yeah, I think what was missing in a lot of the older games was what can the token be used for? So people were able to earn it passively. And like you said there, that you used to rent out NFTs that people could use. And I've seen people creating full businesses based on that. But that was to earn the token to sell it on the external market. But if you can actually create utility for that or reasons for for gamers to want that, whether it's to upgrade in the game or to give them access to new levels or whatever it is, there's potential there. Obviously, you need more, and it really is complex to try and get the economy right. Even outside of crypto, it's extremely hard to get a proper in-game economy going that lasts the test of time. So next month, you said the alpha is going to drop. That's alpha here for us getting the scoop on that, is it as well?
Yeah, pre-alpha is what we're calling it. Just set expectations right there. But yeah, we're going to be dropping a lot more info in this month, so in November. But you're going to be able to get your hands on the game next month, which I'm extremely excited about because I can't wait to be 1v1ing some people in our community.
Nice. Yeah. And what about the community? What kind of size is the NFTs, the collection? How many was in the collection initially?
So our full collection is 10K, but we've only released 5K supply. So very shortly, actually, you can expect we're going to be releasing the next 5K. And you want me to get into that real quick? There's a few details.
Yeah, go for it.
Awesome. So initially, there's 3 different body types of Goombles, and you can actually see here on my shirt. Here's the round one, right? And then there's a tall Goomble, but there's a actually third one, which is a mystery shaped Goomble. And we haven't announced what that is. We've done a little teaser and people kind of saw it. But if you're minting this next 5K, it's the only way to get the mystery body. And the more body types you hold, which is the max 3, you're actually going to get some bonuses, right? And we're going to be announcing those probably within the next maybe week and a half. And we have this huge kind of push leading up to our game launch. So that's coming extremely soon. Same with our game launch. And also, if you get a Goomble, you'll be able to have access to the pre-alpha. So there you go.
Oh, nice. So this is after all my waiting to reach out to get this interview. It's worked out at a good time, I think, to get this. And look, I'll leave all the links to probably your socials, Twitter, Discord, whatever it is down below for people to follow along and find out all them details probably the next week or two, you're saying?
Yeah, we're going to be launching a lot here in probably the next 2 weeks. And then, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to be playing the game too. So good timing.
Nice. And the token, that's a later date. That's not even decided on how that's going to work, is it? That's not coming with this NFT sale.
Our initial plan was we're not going to launch a token unless it makes sense and there's a little more legal clarity, just because it kills so many games. But here's my thing. There's a lot of benefits a token could bring to the Goombles ecosystem. So let's start with step 1, which is let's get some players on the game, which is at the end of the day the goal. Then if there's enough players and we actually have recurring people coming, maybe those people could be rewarded with some token or with some other mechanism of ownership for the assets that they hold and time that they're spending. So that's really all I'm going to say right now, but don't expect a token this year in 2023. Nice.
Well, look, we'll definitely have to catch up probably towards the end of the year, maybe when that pre-alpha comes out, and have a chat then and see how it's going down. The upgrades that people can win in the game, will they be NFTs that they can trade to other people too, or is it just specific to them?
So the way it's going to work is basically the common items or things maybe for low level players will not be on chain. But
Mhm.
if you have, let's say, a rare cosmetic, or we've already announced that the next collection we're gonna have mechs, which is gonna be your movable character in the game. These are gonna be on chain, right? So if you want, it's not confirmed what the mechs will do yet. But for example, let's say you want to get a special combo of the secondary fire, as I mentioned, then yeah, maybe you're gonna want a special mech, or maybe right now in the meta one's better than the other, so you're going to need to like trade or potentially unlock something in game to get to that next level.
Okay. And I suppose moving on from the specifics in around the game, why build this on Cardano? There's lots of other NFT ecosystems out there, other chains that some people say are better suited to gaming. Why settle for Cardano? Or what attracted you to Cardano?
Yeah, definitely. So there's two big reasons why we chose to build on Cardano. Reason number one is that in 2022 I went to see NFT Con, and I basically met everyone in the entire community, right? And it was amazing. I had already been building Goombles, like our minimum viable product was already in the work and everything. And I'd even mentioned to some people that we're going to launch on ETH. But I met all the minting platforms, the content creators, some of the people, the devs, everything. And I went, wow, you know what? This ecosystem's so large, and it was just kind of hiding in here. I really like it, and I like the community. And the next reason, which this kind of leads me to, is if we were to launch on ETH, we'd basically just be another game. But here on Cardano, we actually have a chance to grow with the chain and help the chain grow. So it was kind of a no brainer at that point, honestly. You know, at the time, also, I really liked the EU uh, TXO model. Sorry if I said that wrong. I'm bad with acronyms sometimes.
Oh, you
Um,
got it.
but basically, the kind of scalability, like it's been taking a lot of time, and a lot of games are moving off the ETH L1 and going to L2s, and finding their other kind of things. So now I'm wondering, are we going to need to go to a some type of Cardano L2 or some type of roll up? When is that coming out? Is it going to be out by the time my game is ready? Because we all know Cardano's kind of slow. So it's a bit of an interesting situation, but I'm really happy with the choice to build on Cardano.
Yeah, I think the community definitely, since I started this channel probably over 3 years ago now, the community is definitely one of the big factors or strongest points of the Cardano ecosystem, that sometimes it isn't measured in charts like we could talk about speed or scalability or dApps or anything like that. I think the community is one aspect that has always been extremely strong for Cardano. And like you say there, scalability, I do agree. I would like to see certain things coming quicker than they are in the roadmap, or even having solid dates for it's going to be Q, whatever you're going to have, whether it's input endorsers, whether it's some sort of roll ups or whatever it's going to be. I think it's something that I would love to see a big focus shifting towards that for Cardano, because it allows more developers, or it attracts more developers in if they know, yes, we are going to have what we need here or here, where right now projects might be looking at what some other chains could do and thinking, we know we can do it there, but if they knew they could do it on Cardano at a certain time frame, then it's more
Absolutely.
attractive to actually build ahead on the layer one. And not everything needs to be on a layer one. We, with the idea of partner chains now, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. There was the sidechain toolkit for Cardano. I'm not sure where that sits right now, whether sidechains could be still used and easy interaction with the layer one, but that's outside of where we are, I suppose. Looking at other ecosystems, other NFT ecosystems, what's happening on other chains now that mightn't necessarily be happening on Cardano yet? Generally, these things flow across, but anything stand out to you on other chains?
Yeah. And then real quick, I actually do want to touch on one more thing about the previous
Mhm.
topic, which is why Cardano. I'm a
Oh
big,
yeah.
as I mentioned in 2020, I found out about Bitcoin. I actually really love the decentralized aspect of Bitcoin. And Cardano is very decentralized, at least when compared to other of the other, top 10, top 20
Mhm.
blockchains. But we are a video game, which means we don't necessarily need to take advantage of that decentralization. I like it, but it's not as important. So for most games building on Cardano, they like the decentralization, and they're starting to realize like, hold on, we don't actually need, to be on a decentralized chain, because it's not important for our game unless you're going to be decentralizing your servers, which is whole nother topic. But things on other chains that I'm excited for, I think the number one gaming chain right now is Ronin, which houses Axie Infinity, the largest Web3 game as of right now. I think Immutable X is doing some cool things. They've signed an insane kind of portfolio of games with them. I think Treeverse is signed with them. There's a lot of good games coming. Let's see who else. I'm not really a fan of Gala right now. They had that whole lawsuit. Their nodes and tokenomics are really weird. Like, I don't really trust what's going on. I have some Mirandis items because I really like Mirandis, but I don't know if I'm going to hold on to them, honestly. But that, hey, if you like Gala, that doesn't mean you shouldn't like them. And I think there's a couple, new players coming in. There's Nakamoto Games, which is, I mean, it was being slept on like 2 months ago, but now it's absolutely pumping. Let's see if there's maybe one other one I could name. I think G Swift looks kind of cool at their own blockchain. They have already a suite of games. So there's a lot of stuff going on for gaming specifically. I think 2024 is going to be a big year, honestly.
Okay, yeah, there's a few there that I haven't even heard of because the gaming side isn't something I dive too deep into, but I will definitely have to do my research on some of them to see what's going on with them. So anything else stand out? NFT space, people talk about the NFT space is dead. It's never going to come back. What's your thoughts on the NFT space in general right now?
I think most people saying NFTs won't come back, they're right and wrong. First of all, they probably got into NFTs in 2021 at the very top, so they've never actually seen them go up, right? Except for maybe in the first like week or two when a project launches. So let's get that out of the way. But NFTs are not coming back. They're right for like 99%, maybe 98% of projects, right? Because as we've seen, once a project actually delivers, even the community kind of leaves. It's really weird and so backwards. So now the new age of products or projects, they're getting a lot smarter. They're saying, okay, what's a product or a service that people actually want, so that when we deliver it, we're going to be able to stick around. So that's one thing that I think, they're going to be coming back on. And two, the Bitcoin halving ignites the bull market. We're kind of primed for 2024, 2025 action. So at least last run, we saw things were kind of rotating. It was like DeFi, NFTs, spot, DeFi, NFT, spot. It was kind of like a balancing act. So I think NFTs will most definitely have a comeback, just not any of the ones that we hold, unfortunately.
Yeah,
not any of the ones in my bag.
I would agree with that, in that a lot of the ones that pumped really hard before that haven't done anything since in terms of the project, haven't delivered anything since, then there's not much chance of ones like that coming back. But the hype and hysteria that we have previously had with new mints and new offers, I think that type of stuff will come back. You'd like to think that users that are looking at this will have learned a lot and won't dive headfirst into the projects that haven't actually got a realistic roadmap or anything like that. But when the Bitcoin halving happens and the bull market really kicks in, then who knows what's going to happen there. Yeah. But in terms of, so lots of projects have fell away, and I would say not just in NFTs, look at crypto in general. I'd say it's fairly similar percentages of projects that have failed or just fell away or rug or whatever you want to call it. But in the NFT space, what do you see as projects are doing different this time? Are they planning better? Have they learned? Or what's the traits that you look at when you're looking at new projects?
Yeah, I think are we talking specifically for gaming or just in general?
Gaming or in general, then for NFTs?
Yeah. Honestly, the main thing I look at is what is their plan? What is their roadmap, right? And I'm not talking about what do they plan to do. What I really mean is this going to actually be something that people want? Because people have launched so many things and then the project dies out because no one actually wanted that in the first place. A lot of people are building tools and the tech is amazing and they work, but no one's using them. Why? Because there's no demand. So if we see something like, let's say, Pudgy Penguins, who's like the prime example of what an NFT project could and should be. I mean, they're making it into an entire consumer brand. They just signed with 2,000 stores in Walmart, so they're absolutely killing it. Axie Infinity now has a basically, or Axie Infinity and Ronin has a huge suite of actual gamers. Pixels, which is one of the games they recently signed, just shared some data. I believe it was 84,000 daily active users now that they're on Ronin. So, you know, think of it, even for a traditional gaming standpoint, that's not bad. It's not like insane numbers, but it's not bad. 84,000 people coming back day after day is really good. So just look for things that people want. I'm not really a big fan of I like art, but I don't really care if it's like, oh, it's this artist, blah blah blah. I don't really care about that. I don't really care for this new meta where people are doing mining and stuff like that. I think it's cool, but I mean, like, if you're a project, you need to do something different. You need to do something special. If every project's just going to be a mining operation, then I mean, I don't know. What's the point of even being an NFT project? Just be an investor group. So it's interesting.
Yeah, if I'm buying into something, I wouldn't pay money to put art on my wall. It's just not it's not what I'm into. So I'm not going to be going after NFTs that are by certain artists or any of that type of stuff either. I want to see what's the utility, what can I do with it, or if I'm getting into some projects just as an investor, what's the potential of them delivering that could give me a return on it. In terms of yourselves and your roadmap, it's not cheap to build a game. It's not cheap to build a project. How are you along the roadmap right now? Or is the next NFT mint, it's needed for the project, for the funding, for the roadmap?
Yeah, so our original plan was always to have 10,000. We said that from day one. And basically, my entrance into Cardano was quite the event. Because it was quite the event. I got a lot of hate when I first joined because I already had a following from Axie and from ETH. And then when I started joining Cardano, we were posting a lot of memes. A Wob from Sappy Seals is coming in. So people just kind of grouped me into this like joke category. And they were very wrong. So what happened was I was like, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to mint our 5,000 first. We're going to show that we can actually deliver something cool. And then we're going to mint our other 5,000 when it's, when it's time to get to our next milestones. And the thing is, we've been delivering amazingly. And a lot of the projects that are OG on Cardano have either been building extremely slow, rugging, or are still here, right? Third category, I'm really happy for them. And I talked to a lot of the founders and I'm happy that they're still here. So now that we've showed people, hey, here's some sneak peeks of the game. Here's everything we've been doing. And we're going to be showing more and more and more. It's time that we bring kind of the next part of our roadmap alive, which is more content for the game and player progression. But we're actually going to be dropping an official roadmap probably within, like I said, the next week or two. We're going to be dropping everything. So stay tuned for that. But I think this next mint is going to be an opportunity for Goombles to really, really be the top mobile game on Cardano.
And actually, just is it all mobile or will there be desktop versions too?
Pre-alpha is going to be on desktop and Android, but we will most likely transition strictly to mobile just because there's no reason to split dev costs and optimize and do all these UI things for so many different platforms. So if you want to play after the pre-alpha, Android and iPhone.
Okay, yeah, we won't worry about Apple. I'm not a fan. I'm Android. But so you guys are here for the long run anyway. And what is the game built in? Is it Unity or is it something else or
Unity.
Unreal or Unity? Yeah, that seems to be, I don't know that much about game dev, but that seems to be the most popular for game developers.
Unity is, I think, the most popular, but I don't know. Unreal might be taking the crown shortly. Unity's been doing some interesting business decisions lately, which people are not a fan of. But when it comes to mobile gaming, Unity is the go-to. When you hear people building an Unreal Engine, whether it's 4 or 5, that's usually for those hyper-realistic graphics and kind of larger console, or not console, but larger PC and console games. So Unity is the GOAT when it comes to mobile, for sure.
Yeah, it's when you look at Cornucopias and some of the graphics and that they have from Unreal, that type of stuff would be extremely hard to put into mobile. But
It'd
what
be
else have we not
impossible.
covered?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
For now.
the types of phones that you would maybe in the future there will be chips when you look at how phones have come along at this stage,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
definitely not the next few years. But what have we not covered today? So we've covered the project, where it is, where it's going, covered a bit on NFTs, you coming in from Ethereum. That was a time, I think a lot of people came from Ethereum. Not that many stuck around, especially not that many stuck around and actually built and have something to show for it now. But what else have we not covered today?
Hmm. And yeah, that was a crazy time. I still on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Someone will send me a tweet, and I'm like, this person has me blocked. Just because a bunch of people blocked me when I first started coming in because I posted like a meme or something. But now it's crazy. People are unblocking me. They're like, wow, I didn't know you were actually going to build something on Cardano. Like, that's cool. So it's been
Yeah,
interesting.
you
But
actually gained some respect for actually you stuck around. You've actually proven that you weren't just here for lots of people come into engagement farm. People still do it for Cardano, but you're actually building on the chain. And at this point, looks to be probably will be one of the top projects over the next few months.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love engagement farming, right? I love the memes and
It's in
all
the
that.
name.
Yeah, yeah, there you go, right? But at the end of the day, things got to get built, and gaming, in my opinion, is the Trojan horse when it comes to blockchain technology. I think that if you're a gamer, you really understand how the technology and the ownership aspect can work, and then
Mhm.
possibly you'll have your first wallet, transition into DeFi and other things, and maybe even become a decentralization maxi like a lot of us are right now. But anything that we missed, not exactly. I I don't think there's anything huge. If you want, we can get into like the tokenomics and maybe some specifics about NFT gaming, but that might bore some people. They might fall asleep.
Look, I'm starting to trying to go more into regular shows on NFTs. I had a few guys on last week, and we're going to set up maybe a monthly show diving into NFT projects and the NFT space in general, not just specific projects. So, might if you're up for it, some of the months get you on as well to get a perspective from a builder. The other guys were content creators, and they're going to be coming back, but looking to bring more people into that. Look, I think time wise, we're probably at a good time for people watching. But the idea of the tokenomics, the in-game economies, and how all that type of stuff works, I'd love to get yourself and some other people together at some point that are building these games to come on and talk about that. I know it's not for everyone, but it's an area I'd love to dive into to see what it actually takes to build a successful in-game economy, because there's a lot of moving factors there.
Yeah, definitely. And here's the thing, right? No one knows the answer because
Mhm.
there's not a single Web3 game that's found the solution yet, even if there even is a solution. But the reason why I got my following was because in late 2020, I was writing threads on Axie Infinity, tokenomics. Hey, how do you min max optimize to get the most SLP? All these different things. Here's what they should do to tweak the economy to be more sustainable. And that's actually how I started my whole account. So it's a really interesting thing. It hurts a lot of people's feelings. It hurts a lot of people's bags, which are the same thing as their feelings, unfortunately. So yeah, I mean, it could turn into a heated discussion. Just saying.
Yeah, and just on that, so Axie Infinity was absolutely massive. Seems like only for a short period of time now. Can it come back to the highs? And I don't just mean the token price. Some people go straight to the token price. Obviously, token can it recover a bit? It's flooded out in the market right now, but can the game come back as a big brand in the space again?
Okay, so let's say there's two different things, right? Two completely different subjects. There's the tokens and the economy on this side,
Yeah.
and then there's the brand on this side. And those are completely different. So I'm going to talk about the brand first. They can absolutely come back, and they actually are, which I'm very happy to see. The thing about Axie is that the team grew. I'm pretty sure it was like four guys. They had minimal funding. There was like a few whales who kept the community propped up, and they ended up just becoming a billion-dollar company out of nowhere, and multi country. Axie was being played on all continents. Like, it was crazy. So can they come back? Yeah, they're already doing it. And that's with Ronin, which is they made their entire own blockchain because they had so many players that it wasn't even working on ETH. So basically, yes, to answer your question, but the economy is the confusing part. So they have two tokens for Axie Infinity. There's SLP and AXS. SLP is an inflationary token. So I'm pretty sure that it's meant to be doomed. It's never coming back. There's so much supply. The net positive for mint to burn is just insane. I think there's been a few days where it's net negative, but it's not going to stay, at least in my opinion. So that's done. AXS, which is like the Axie Infinity shard, I think is what it's called, token. Maybe, but those tokens are tied to the Axie value. So for that to happen, Axies would have to pump, or at least they'd have to make some major tweaks. Axies went from like $350 at the high to like, I think they're now $1. So there's, I think, 12 to 13 million Axies in circulation. It'd be extremely difficult to revive that token. But a bull market can raise everything. So you never know. But I'm a big fan of the RON token, NFA, of course. I really like their ecosystem. They have a great wallet. They have great decks, everything. So I'm a fan of RON personally, which is their ecosystem.
It's not an ecosystem I've looked into, but I must take a look at it. And I presume they've learned a lot from Axie Infinity and how the game worked to really optimize for other projects building games. So it's one I definitely must look at. Look, I really appreciate your time today. It was great to finally sit down and chat. When you release the pre-alpha, maybe we'll have another chat around then when people have had a look at the game. Might even do that one live, do a live stream, let people come on, ask questions, and see where we go. And if you're up for it in the monthly NFT show that I'm looking to kick off, you're more than welcome to join us some month that you want as well.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Paul. Appreciate that. I'm definitely down for the show, and we can 1v1 Goombles on video, and we'll do some grudge matches.
Once I get some practice in first, that's that's the only thing. But look, everyone watching this, please do share it out. Let people know what's going on, what Farmer Nash is building here, what's coming. Few bits of alpha in there with some of the releases or potential upcoming releases. Do appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new. Leave questions. We can use them in the follow-up, and all of the links down below to Farmer Nash's own Twitter, as well as all for Goombles for the project. All the links will be below. Make sure you follow, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers, man.
Bye, guys.